People spend their entire lives watching. Watching television, watching social media, watching athletes, celebrities, influencers, entrepreneurs, millionaires, billionaires, and champions live the life they wish they had. They sit in the stands clapping, reposting, liking, celebrating the achievements of others while their own dreams collect dust. And the hard truth is, you can't watch your way into greatness. You can't applaud your way into success. You can't cheer from the sidelines and expect your own life to change. The world doesn't reward fans, it rewards fighters. The world doesn't elevate spectators, it elevates doers. The life you want is not in your admiration, it's in your action. And here's the danger: watching feels good. It gives you the illusion of being a part of the journey without actually doing the work. You clap when someone else wins, and for a second you feel their victory as if it's your own. You scroll through their highlight reels, their luxury cars, their trophies, their lifestyle, and you convince yourself that you're connected to greatness because you're close to it. But proximity to greatness is not the same as creating it. Watching success doesn't build your bank account. Cheering for someone else's grind doesn't grow your discipline. Admiration doesn't give you a legacy. Only action does. The reason most people get stuck in life is because watching is safe. Watching doesn't demand risk. Watching doesn't require sacrifice. Watching doesn't hurt. To step onto the field, to step into the grind, to put your reputation, your time, your energy, your very soul on the line, that's terrifying. Because when you act, you expose yourself. You risk failure. You risk being judged. You risk being misunderstood. And most people would rather hide behind clapping for someone else's victory than face the possibility of their own defeat. But let me ask you something. How long will you keep living in the shadows of other people's light? How many more years are you going to spend clapping for someone else before you finally decide to chase your own destiny? You were not designed to sit on the sidelines of life. You were not created to live your entire existence applauding others while you bury your own potential. Deep inside you, there's a fire, there's a vision, there's a dream screaming for expression. But as long as you're watching others shine, your own fire suffocates. Think about it. Every champion, every winner, every person you admire, they weren't born with something magical you don't have. They weren't given some secret formula. They made a decision. They decided to stop watching, to stop clapping, to stop wasting their energy admiring, and instead redirected that energy into building. They understood that the only way to shine is to grind. The only way to rise is to work. The only way to succeed is to fight for it. They stopped sitting in the stands and stepped into the arena. And the arena isn't pretty. It isn't comfortable. It isn't glamorous. It's sweat dripping down your face at 4 a.m. while the rest of the world sleeps. It's sacrificing weekends, sacrificing comfort, sacrificing approval. It's hearing the voices in your head telling you to quit, telling you it's too hard, telling you you'll never make it. It's pushing through those voices anyway. The arena is where greatness is born, and the arena is where most people refuse to go. Because in the arena, there are no shortcuts. In the arena, you can't fake it. In the arena, effort is exposed. And that's exactly why so many choose to watch instead of play. Because it's easier to admire the glow of someone else's fire than to build your own. But easy doesn't create greatness. Easy doesn't create strength. Easy doesn't leave a legacy. You can keep clapping until your hands bleed, but applause won't build your future. You've got to decide right now if you're going to keep living safe in the stands, or if you're finally going to step into the arena and fight for the life you deserve. And don't confuse being busy with building your own light. Some of you are spending hours on end watching other people's grind, following every post, every story, every update, thinking that somehow by observing them, you're preparing yourself. But let me tell you the truth, you don't learn greatness by watching, you learn it by doing. You don't build strength by clapping, you build it by sweating. You don't grow discipline by admiring it in others, you grow it by forcing yourself to practice it every single day. Stop using admiration as an excuse for inaction. Stop convincing yourself that being a fan of success is the same as becoming successful. It's not. You've got to redirect that energy. All the time you spend watching, clapping, celebrating someone else's life, that's fuel you could be burning for your own vision. That's energy you could invest into your own goals. Every second you admire someone else's light is a second your own grows dimmer. Every day you spend watching is a day you lose building. And you only get one life, one. Are you really willing to spend it in the stands, cheering while someone else lives the dream you were capable of creating? Here's the reality. The world doesn't stop for you. Time doesn't pause while you get ready. Opportunities don't wait for your excuses. Every day you waste is a day you never get back. And if you don't step up, if you don't start now, you'll blink and realize you've spent years clapping for someone else's victory while your own potential died with you. That's the harsh truth most people don't want to face. But you're not like most people. You wouldn't still be here reading these words if you were. Something inside you is hungry. Something inside you knows you're capable of more. That voice inside, the one that's been whispering, I can do this, I was made for more, I wasn't built to just watch. That's your fire trying to break out. But if you don't feed it, if you keep drowning it with distractions, with excuses, with endless applause for others, it will die. And when it dies, regret takes its place. Regret is the heaviest weight you'll ever carry. Not the weight of failure, not the weight of pain, not the weight of sacrifice, because all of those can build you. Regret is heavier than all of them, because regret comes when it's too late. Regret is the voice that whispers, I should have tried, I should have started, I should have built my own light instead of clapping for someone else's. Don't let that voice haunt you. Don't let regret be your story. Have one shot at this, one life. And you have everything you need to shine. You have strength. You have potential. You have the ability to build your own light so bright that people can't ignore it. But you've got to stop wasting it on applause. You've got to stop being a spectator. You've got to stop watching others shine and finally decide to step into your own greatness. The stands are full of spectators. The world doesn't need another one. The world doesn't need more people clapping. The world needs you to rise. The world needs you to step up. The world needs your light. You've been told your whole life to clap for others, to celebrate their victories, to admire their shine. And yes, there's nothing wrong with giving credit where it's due, but the problem is when you spend so much time admiring that you forget to build. You've been trained to be a spectator, but life doesn't reward spectators. Life rewards builders. Life rewards those who take what little they have and turn it into something powerful. If you're tired of clapping, if you're tired of sitting in the stands, then it's time to build your fire. Building your fire means refusing to live passively. It means refusing to wait for inspiration, refusing to wait for permission, refusing to wait for somebody to light the torch for you. Nobody is coming to hand you greatness. Nobody is coming to build your dreams for you. If you want your light to shine, you've got to create the spark yourself. That means waking up with a reason, moving with urgency, and embracing the grind even when it feels like the grind is crushing you. People think success belongs to the chosen few, that only the lucky, the talented, the privileged can shine. That's a lie. The truth is, the glow you see in others was built brick by brick, day by day, sacrifice after sacrifice. Their light didn't appear overnight, it was earned. And that same opportunity is available to you if you're willing to stop waiting and start working. Building your fire begins with discipline. Not motivation, not hype, not good feelings. Discipline. Because there will be days when you don't feel like it. There will be days when you're tired, days when you're discouraged, days when the results don't show up as fast as you want them to. And in those moments, motivation won't save you. Discipline will. Discipline is getting up anyway. Discipline is pushing when you'd rather rest. Discipline is saying no to distractions so you can say yes to your destiny. Every decision you make is a log on your fire. Every hour you grind, every sacrifice you commit to, every distraction you reject, it's fuel. And the more fuel you put in, the brighter your light will burn. That's why the winners shine. That's why the people you admire glow when they walk into a room. It's not magic, it's the product of years of stacking wood, years of fueling their fire, years of refusing to let their flame die out. But here's where most people fail. They build their fire for a day, maybe a week, maybe a month, and then they quit when it doesn't burn bright enough, fast enough. They get frustrated when results don't come instantly. They let doubt and impatience smother their spark. But greatness doesn't happen overnight. Your fire doesn't become a blaze in one day. You've got to keep feeding it, keep protecting it, keep nurturing it even when the world can't see it yet. That's what separates the successful from the spectators. The successful understand that every small effort compounds. Every brick laid matters. Every drop of sweat counts. Every sacrifice builds momentum. They know that the fire they're building today may not light up the world tomorrow, but if they keep feeding it, if they keep protecting it, one day it will shine so bright that no one can ignore it. And don't think for 1 second that the world owes you recognition. Nobody is going to come and applaud you while you're building. Nobody is going to throw a parade because you woke up early, because you sacrificed, because you worked late. Your fire will go unnoticed in the beginning. Your grind will be invisible. And that's where most people quit, because they want applause before they've earned it. But the fire doesn't grow under applause. The fire grows under pressure. The fire grows in silence. The fire grows when nobody's watching. You've got to get comfortable being unseen. You've got to get comfortable grinding in the dark. Because when the blaze finally comes, when your fire finally roars, it will be undeniable. And people will look at you and say, wow, you came out of nowhere. But you'll know the truth. You didn't come out of nowhere. You were building while they were sleeping. You were grinding while they were partying. You were feeding your fire while they were wasting their time clapping for others. Stop treating other people's fire as your entertainment. Stop standing around their blaze, warming your hands while your own potential goes cold. Build your own. It won't be easy. It will demand sacrifice, focus, and relentless work. But nothing worth having ever comes easy. The reason most people spend their lives in the stands is because building your fire hurts. It demands late nights and early mornings. It demands rejection and failure. It demands blood, sweat, and tears. But that's the price of light. And if you're not willing to pay it, then be honest with yourself. You'll spend your life clapping for those who are. But if you are willing, if you're ready, then you've got to move differently. You've got to guard your time like your life depends on it. You've got to protect your energy like it's sacred. You've got to stop wasting hours scrolling, watching, admiring, and instead use those hours to fuel your vision. You've got to stop living for applause and start living for results. Because applause fades, results last. Think about the people you admire. Think about the ones you clap for. They didn't get there by watching others. They didn't get there by being spectators. They got there by choosing the grind over comfort, by choosing sacrifice over excuses, by choosing to build their fire no matter how hard it got. That's why you admire them. That's why their light shines so bright. And if you want that for yourself, if you want your own blaze, then you've got to walk the same road. Building your fire means refusing to compare. Stop looking at how big someone else's flame is. Stop comparing your beginning to their middle. Stop letting their shine intimidate you. Use it as fuel, but never as a reason to shrink. Your fire doesn't need to look like theirs. Your blaze doesn't need to burn the same way. What matters is that you're building, that you're feeding, that you're refusing to let your spark die. You have something inside you the world needs. A vision, a gift, a fire that only you can build. But as long as you're watching others, you're wasting it. As long as you're clapping, you're delaying it. As long as you're sitting in the stands, your fire stays buried. It's time to stop. It's time to move. It's time to build. Take every ounce of energy you've wasted on applause, on admiration, on watching, and pour it into your grind. Pour it into your discipline. Pour it into your fire until it burns so bright that nobody can deny it. Because you weren't created to sit in the shadows of someone else's light. You weren't born to be a spectator. You were born to shine. And the only way to shine is to build. There comes a point in life when you've got to get brutally honest with yourself. You've been clapping, you've been admiring, you've been cheering from the sidelines. But what has that done for your future? What has that done for your bank account? What has that done for your purpose? Too many people spend their lives hyped up on other people's victories, but when it comes time to look in the mirror, they've got nothing to show for themselves. That's the trap. That's how you waste decades, being inspired but never building, always admiring but never executing. Inspiration without execution is useless. You can watch other people shine all day, but until you put in the work to build your own light, you'll always be left in the dark. And let me tell you something, you can't fake the shine. You can't borrow somebody else's light. You can't copy, paste someone's journey and expect the same results. Your fire has to be your own. Your shine has to come from within. Too many people are busy imitating instead of innovating, copying instead of creating. That's why they never last. That's why their light flickers out, because it wasn't theirs to begin with. If you want something real, if you want something that can't be taken away, you've got to build it from scratch. And here's the truth nobody wants to face. Building your light takes time. You can't microwave greatness. You can't shortcut the grind. Everybody wants the glow, but nobody wants the grind. Everybody wants the applause, but nobody wants the silence. Everybody wants to shine, but few are willing to struggle. But the struggle is the process. The struggle is the fire that forges your strength. Without it, your light will never last. You've got to be willing to look foolish before you look successful. You've got to be willing to work in the shadows before the spotlight ever finds you. And most people aren't. They want recognition before results. They want credit before commitment. They want the spotlight without the sweat. And that's why they spend their lives clapping. Because clapping is easy. Cheering is easy. Admiring is easy. But building is hard. Building is lonely. Building is painful. But building is the only path to true light. Understand this. There's no growth in watching. There's no progress in applause. The only growth comes from getting your hands dirty, from putting in the work, from stepping into the grind. You can't read about success, watch success, or clap for success and expect it to transfer into your life. You've got to create it. You've got to sweat for it. You've got to bleed for it. That's the price, and there's no discount. Think about all the hours you've spent watching others. Hours on social media. Hours watching interviews. Hours watching highlight reels. What if you had invested those hours into your craft, into your business, into your health, into your future? Where would you be today if you had taken every minute you wasted admiring others and poured it into building yourself? That thought should haunt you, because time doesn't come back. Every minute you clap for others is a minute you can't use to build your own light. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you can't respect others, you can't celebrate others. But there's a line. Respect them, celebrate them, learn from them, but don't idolize them. Don't glorify them to the point where you forget who you are. Don't watch them so closely that you lose your own vision. You weren't put here to be a carbon copy. You weren't put here to live in someone else's shadow. You weren't put here to be the audience. You were put here to perform, to create, to dominate in your own lane. Your light doesn't require validation. It doesn't require applause. It doesn't require permission. The only thing it requires is your effort, your grind, your sacrifice. That's the formula. That's the secret. And yet most people run from it because it's not glamorous. Building your light isn't glamorous. It's not Instagram worthy. It's not flashy, it's ugly, it's messy, it's long nights, early mornings, failures, doubts, rejections. It's being told no 1,000 times and still showing up on the 1,000th and first. That's the process. That's how you build. But if you're not willing to endure it, if you're not willing to go through it, then don't lie to yourself about wanting to shine. Don't say you want success. Don't say you want greatness. Don't say you want light if you're not willing to fight for it. Because light doesn't just appear, it's earned. And the only way to earn it is to stop clapping and start grinding. You've got to reprogram your mind. Right now, you're conditioned to admire, conditioned to compare, conditioned to clap. That's why you scroll, why you watch, why you consume without creating. But you've got to flip the script. You've got to become obsessed with your own growth, your own progress, your own light. You've got to clap for yourself, not out of arrogance, but out of accountability. You've got to track your grind, measure your progress, and celebrate your consistency. Because when you do that, you stop waiting for applause and you start creating momentum. Momentum is everything. Once you start building, once you start stacking days of discipline, weeks of effort, months of sacrifice, something happens. The fire grows, the light expands, and suddenly you're not just clapping, you're shining, you're not just watching, you're leading. And the people who used to ignore you will have no choice but to notice. The same ones you used to admire will start admiring you. But that only happens if you commit to the grind long enough for the results to show. And here's the crazy thing, when you finally build your own light, you'll realize you never needed to clap in the first place. You'll realize you never needed the validation. You'll realize that the shine you were searching for in others was always inside you. It was just waiting for you to work, waiting for you to commit, waiting for you to stop watching and start building. So stop living as a spectator. Stop being addicted to applause. Stop clapping for winners and start training yourself to be one. Put your head down, focus on your vision, and build until your light shines so bright that the world can't deny it. Because the truth is simple, this world doesn't need more spectators. It doesn't need more fans. It doesn't need more people clapping. It needs more builders. It needs more lights. And that means it needs you to step up, to stop watching, and to build what you were put here to build. Because until you do, you'll stay in the shadows. And you weren't created for the shadows. You were created to shine. There comes a season when you got to make a decision that defines the rest of your life. Either you keep sitting in the crowd clapping for other people's victories, or you step onto the stage and create your own. The crowd is safe, the crowd is comfortable, the crowd requires nothing from you but noise. But the stage, that demands everything. The stage demands courage, preparation, sacrifice, and consistency. That's why so few step up. It's easy to be in the stands, it's easy to scroll, it's easy to applaud, but it's hard to commit to the grind that puts you in a position to be applauded. And if you're tired of living a life that looks small compared to your potential, if you're tired of watching highlight reels that make you feel like a spectator in your own story, then it's time to make the shift. It's time to stop watching and start building. You've got to stop waiting for somebody to hand you an opportunity. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to put a spotlight on you. Nobody's going to stop their grind to start yours. If you want a stage, you've got to build it. If you want to shine, you've got to earn it. Too many people waste years waiting for recognition, waiting for luck, waiting for validation, waiting for somebody to give them permission. And while they're waiting, their dreams are collecting dust. Their light is trapped, hidden, buried. But if you're serious, if you're ready to make this life count, you've got to stop waiting and start creating. And let's be clear, it won't be easy. Building your own light means working when nobody claps. It means grinding when nobody cares. It means pushing forward when the world doubts you. There will be nights where you question yourself, mornings where you don't feel like moving, seasons where the results don't match the effort. That's where most people quit. That's why most people keep clapping instead of shining, because the grind breaks them. But here's the truth. The grind is supposed to break the old you. The grind is supposed to strip away your laziness, your excuses, your weakness. The grind isn't punishment, it's preparation. And if you survive it, if you stay consistent through it, you will come out stronger, sharper, brighter. That's how you build a light that can't be put out. You've got to learn to fall in love with the process. Not the applause, not the spotlight, not the validation. The process. You've got to love the early mornings, the late nights, the silence, the repetition, the small steps that nobody sees. Because it's those small steps that create the giant leap. People want to shine like stars, but they forget that stars are formed in pressure, in heat, in darkness. The same goes for you. Your shine will be forged in seasons where nobody notices, nobody celebrates, nobody claps. And if you can keep grinding in those seasons, then when your time comes, your light won't just flicker, it will blaze. And here's another truth, you've got to be willing to sacrifice. You can't keep everything and build greatness. You can't hold on to distractions, comfort toxic people, and bad habits and still expect to shine. Something has to die for your light to live. Maybe it's your procrastination. Maybe it's your excuses. Maybe it's your obsession with watching others. Maybe it's your addiction to clapping for everybody else. Whatever it is, you've got to kill it. Because you can't carry dead weight and expect to fly. Sacrifice isn't a loss, it's an investment. Every comfort you give up, every distraction you cut, every excuse you eliminate is fuel for your shine. And don't get it twisted. Your light isn't just about you. Yes, it starts with you. Yes, it's your responsibility. But once you build it, once you shine, you give permission to others to shine too. When you stop clapping and start building, you set an example. You show people it's possible. You show them they don't have to settle for being spectators. That's the ripple effect. That's the legacy. Your shine isn't just for applause, it's for impact. And impact lasts longer than any clap ever could. So stop underestimating yourself. Stop believing the lie that other people are more talented, more gifted, more worthy. They're not different than you. They're not superhuman. They just made a decision you haven't made yet. They decided to stop clapping and start building. That's the only difference. And the moment you make that same decision, your whole life changes. The moment you commit to your grind with the same energy you use to admire others, you flip the script. You stop being the audience and you become the author. Understand this, there will always be people who want you to stay in the crowd. Misery loves company, mediocrity loves company, comfort loves company. They don't want you to shine because your light will expose their excuses. Your discipline will reveal their laziness. Your consistency will highlight their weakness. That's why you can't wait for support. You can't wait for permission. You can't wait for applause. You've got to move without it. You've got to grind without it. You've got to shine regardless. Because at the end of the day, this is your life. And nobody else is going to live it for you. Stop thinking you've got time. Stop telling yourself you'll start tomorrow, next week, next year. You don't have time to waste. Every day you spend clapping is a day you could have been building. Every day you delay is a day your light stays hidden. Time doesn't pause, it doesn't wait, it doesn't give second chances. The clock is ticking, and every second is a chance to build or a chance to waste. Choose wisely, and when you finally decide, when you finally commit, when you finally put your energy where your dreams are, everything changes. Your confidence grows, your focus sharpens, your fire ignites. And you'll look back at the days you spent clapping and wonder why you ever doubted yourself. You'll realize that the shine you admired in others wasn't meant to intimidate you. It was meant to inspire you to find your own. You'll realize you were never supposed to live in their light. You were supposed to build your own. So the challenge is simple: quit watching others shine, build your own light. No more excuses. No more waiting, no more clapping from the sidelines. The world doesn't need another fan. It needs another builder. It needs another leader. It needs your light. And the only question left is, are you ready to stop watching and start building?